giftige Säurefalle.
Easy, perfekt. Also, Konnichiwa, Minasan. Ja, ich melde mich jetzt auch mal wieder. Nach Ewigkeiten, was weiß ich. Ja, das Stanlay Parable. Keine Ahnung. Ich habe bisher nur was von dem Spiel gehört, nichts gesehen. Ich weiß nur, es soll etwas verwirrend sein oder sonstiges. I mean, man sieht es schon am Menü. Dieses, rechts der Computer. Also, ja. Ich glaube, ich muss da nicht viel zu sagen.
Oh.
Man guckt doch mal auf diesen scheiß, ja, ein bisschen Einstellungen hier. Sprache, Deutsch, bla bla bla. Fadenkreuz anzeigen. Farbelabel anzeigen.
Oh je, oh Gott.
Wahrscheinlich, gibt's irgendwie. Nein, das soll so bleiben. Wie einfach das im Hintergrund aber auch mitgeht, ne?
So, kann ich irgendwie
einfach
dieses TNT benutzen, ohne es kaputt zu hauen? Ich hoffe mal, das sieht nicht als Kiste. Okay, ich bin tot und ich bin ein Engel. Perfekt.
Okay. Dann lassen wir das erstmal so.
Okay, ich bin sehr gut in
go.
diesem Spiel. Ich bin im ersten Level schon 4-mal gestorben.
Was? The end is never the end. The end is loading never. Hä?
Okay, da ist wieder TNT. Ja, das lassen wir lieber stehen. So, 24.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. Psst, Katze.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
Akkusch.
employee number
Marvin,
427.
psst, Katzin.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Oh Mann, ey.
Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So, okay, ich stelle das erstmal hier einen kleinen Moment lauter. Ja, also jetzt schon mal dezent verwirrend. Und das Spiel hat halt, habe ich vergessen zu erwähnen, am Anfang auch mal die echte Uhrzeit erfragt. Und I mean, es ist halt gerade echt so spät.
Ja.
Ah, perfekt.
Okay, ich habe einen Diamanten freigeschaltet und ich habe schon direkt eine Box verkackt. Okay, gut, Crash ist wie Sonic. Crash kann nicht schwimmen. Was ist denn kaputt mit den ganzen Charakteren? Wieso kann denn keiner außer Mario schwimmen? Ich meine, Mario ist sogar noch ein extra Gott und kann sogar nicht, kann nicht mehr ersaufen. Er könnte 10 Jahre unter Wasser bleiben. Vielleicht sogar noch länger. Ne, er säuft nicht. Und Sonic und Crash können einfach nicht ersaufen.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Crash ist so scheiße. Der stirbt ja bei jedem
No
Ding,
matter
bei
how
jeder
hard
Sache, die
Stanley
er
looked,
und das,
he
was er
couldn't find a
berührt wird.
trace of his co-workers.
Okay, warum man sich auch immer mit L und R1 duckt. Be my Valentine. Okay.
Oh Mann, ey.
Oh. Das wollte ich nicht. Sorry. Who farted? Ja, keine Ahnung.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Wollte ich das jetzt... Ah, Bonus. Okay. Ist der Bonus gut? Ist das schlecht? Ich glaube, das ist eigentlich... Wobei, es ist Bonus.
I hate Mondays. Ich auch.
Ah, ich habe alle...
Was? R?
Okay, zweiten Diamanten freigeschaltet. Trophäe erhalten, auf Abwägen. Direkt die zweite Trophäe erhalten schon. Schließe einen Bonusweg ab.
Ich will da rein.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So, ich weiß jetzt schon, ich kann das Level nicht zu 100% abschließen,
Nö,
weil ich
Stanley will aber nicht durch die linke Tür gehen.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja, das kann doch sein.
Checkpoint, okay. Okay, das sieht nicht so toll aus. Warte mal. Nein, das sieht absolut nicht feierlich aus. Was geht da ab? Oh, die Dinger gehen kaputt. Ach, ich kann diese TNT-Box zerstören. Oh, ich gehe ersaufen.
It had really been worth the detour
Ich kann die
after all, just to spend a
TNT-Box
few moments
zerstören,
here in this
indem ich auf sie
immaculate,
draufjumpe.
beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply
wieder
stood
was
here,
dazugelernt.
drinking it all in.
Ja, also, das ist schon ein schöner Raum. Der gefällt mir.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Oh.
Ja, für dich auch.
Ich bin schon
At
wieder
this point,
tot.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall
Es ist
personality.
ein Stream.
It's possible
Es ist das
that
erste
this is why
Level. Ich
everyone
gehe 11
left.
Mal sterben. 12 Mal.
Also ich weiß nicht unbedingt, dass mein Charakter jetzt unbedingt irgendwie krank ist oder so.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Ah, ich weiß gar nicht, was du meinst.
Also ich sag mal so, Leute und Patrick, das Spiel ist irgendwie nicht so meins.
Also, ich bin vor meinem jetzt schon fasziniert. Also das Ding ist halt, ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob das Spiel jetzt wirklich mit mir spielt, also ob das Spiel mit mir spielt. Ob ich jetzt wirklich noch einen letzten Dialog triggern kann, weil eine Weile nichts passiert.
Ich habe 4 Boxen verpasst. 4 Stück. Eine habe ich bei Dings.
Ja, hier weiter.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room.
Eine habe ich bei
The
der
first open
Rutsche
door on his
verpasst,
left
die
to
anderen
get
3,
back to
keine
business.
Ahnung. So, was haben wir jetzt hier?
Okay, ich entschied links reinzugehen.
Was? Edelsteine und Skins.
Kann aber auch
Edelsteine
hier
schalten
reingehen.
Skins frei. Verdiene Edelsteine, indem du Kisten zerbrichst. Wumpers sammelst, versteckte Edelsteine
And so
findest
he
und Level in
detoured
3
through the
oder weniger
maintenance
Leben
section,
abschließt.
walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Zeitkampf freigeschaltet. Zum Freischalten des Skins. 3 von 6. Okay, Insanity Peak.
Okay.
Mal sehen, was uns dort erwartet. Cutscene oder... Sieht nach Cutscene aus.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Nee, doch nicht. Okay, wir haben 86 Kisten, die wir hier zerstören müssen.
Left.
Goldene Wumperkisten liefern 25 Wumpas. Ach, das sind Wumpas. Ich dachte, das sind irgendwelche Mangofrüchte oder was auch immer.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Okay, jetzt werden wir mal kurz zu Donkey Kong. Perfekt.
No,
Ja,
not the
ja,
right.
das hab ich mir auch schon
Why
gedacht.
would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Ach,
Okay.
die Ranken kann ich sogar noch hochklettern.
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yeah,
Was?
yep, okay,
L
okay,
und
yes.
Kreis zum Rutschen.
I've got it now. This story is absolutely,
Ha! Black Ops
definitely
3
this way.
Steuerung.
Doch richtig ins
Es gibt hier Rutschen, Patrick. Und, ach du Scheiß, was ist denn hier? Ja, die Dinger gingen kaputt, das war mir schon klar. Allein wie das schon aufgebaut war.
No, no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here
TNT
yet.
sollte ich
This
lieber
is all a
nicht wirbeln.
spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now.
Aha,
The whole
601
story
wurde
completely
gefeuert.
unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time,
Nice
suppose we
checkpoint.
don't wander so far off track, hmm?
Geht's hier
Okay,
oben
from
weiter?
the top.
Oh Gott, wo bin ich? So, den Black Ops 3 Slide machen.
Ich liebe dieses Game.
Oh, du blöder Bastard, ey.
All
Aber
of
was
his
ist, wenn ich da...
co-workers were gone? What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Plattform
meeting room.
verschwinden einfach.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vielleicht will ich aber auch gar nicht wieder dahin. Hm.
Ah, hier ist ein okay, hier ist ein Secret.
When Stanley... Wait,
Bonusraum.
wait, what?
Okay, was haben wir
No,
hier?
no, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
Ich
Did you
hab gar
move
nichts
the
gemacht.
story somewhere or a... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Oh
It was
yeah.
right here just a minute ago. I
Ah.
know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then, it's an adventure. Come,
Ah.
Stanley, let's find the story.
Ja. Na denn. Ja, du meinst mich hier herumzuscheuchen?
Ich komme hier nicht weiter bei diesem zweiten Bonuslevel. Ey, ich schaff den Sprung nicht.
Oh. Ich will mal ehrlich zu euch sein. Moment. Aha, kleiner Moment. Kleiner Moment.
Hä? Wie soll man den Sprung denn schaffen? Den kannst du doch gar nicht schaffen. Mann, bist das bescheuert. Crash, lande doch einfach mit der Bauchklatsche auf dieses scheiß Ding da oben.
So, ja, mein Controller ist gerade ausgegangen, beziehungsweise leer. Ich habe gerade gedacht, das wäre,
I'll say it.
Das wär gewollt
This is
vom
the
Spiel.
worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Mann, das
okay,
ist
dann
scheiße.
startet halt mein Game nochmal
Komm, wir gehen
neu.
einfach nee, komm, wir gehen einfach sterben. Ich kann diesen Bonusraum nicht.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah, das war TNT. Ach, halt doch die Schnauze, ey.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this
Okay,
wrong.
Cutscene.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Tür ist halt zu. Ah.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
Okay, ich muss
The
weglaufen vor dem.
story. Here
Jo,
it comes.
wie schnell ist der denn?
No, wait.
Oh,
Never
das ist ein
mind.
Diamant,
Not the
nehme ich
story.
mit. Oh
Okay, let's
Gott!
head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Boah, wie schnell ist der?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
Ja, ich
I
hab mir
don't
schon
think
gedacht,
so.
dass ihn das nicht,
I
dass ihn das
can't
nicht
quite
juckt.
recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
Digga, wie schnell ist
that
der?
correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
Nein, die Kisten
Well,
mit.
do you know what?
Oh Gott!
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Kommt der immer noch hinterher? Ja, der kommt immer noch hinterher.
A lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
Danke.
Scheiße, ich hab eine Frucht vergessen. Ach,
I
ist doch
don't feel
scheiße,
right
scheiße,
about
ey.
this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
Ah,
Some
Digga,
people
lauf!
win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Dieses Ende des Levels. 72 von
I'm
86
getting
und eine
weirded
Scheiße.
out by whatever this place is. I don't care what
Trophäe
might
erhalten.
happen this
Realität
time,
ist relativ.
I have to restart.
Versteckte Trophäe.
Dann
Trifft
starte noch mal das
Lani
Game neu.
Luli. Und ich bin nur einmal gestorben. Nee, ich bin nur zweimal gestorben in diesem Level, glaube ich. Und ich habe den verborgenen Diamanten
All right,
gefunden.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Mhm. Aber was ist, wenn ich der Linie nicht folgen will, hä?
Oh, da ist die Freundin von Crash.
Keine Ahnung, was bringt diese PCs auszumachen. Apropos, da fehlt einer. Das war aber nicht das Richtige. Nö. Ich will hier lang.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Ich will aber nicht der Linie hinterher. Die war nicht richtig. Ja, na gut, dann gehe ich ja der Linie hinterher. Wenn du das so willst, dann machen wir das. Aber Spiel mal so davon abgesehen, dass da B steht und nicht.
Dimensionskarte. Oh Gott, nein. Jetzt hat mich das jetzt so ein... Oh.
Da steht
You
ein
see,
B.
the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no
Ha!
story there? Or to put it another way, is the
Okay,
story
Scheiß auf
Dimensionskarte.
die-
Willkommen zur
still a
Dimensionskarte.
story?
Hier kannst du Level
Simply
zum
by the
Spielen
act of
wählen.
moving
Zwischen Crash
forward,
und Coco
are we
tauschen.
implying a journey
Skins wechseln
such
und
that a
Level wiederholen,
destination
um
is
Zeitkämpfe
inevitably
zu
conjured
meistern.
into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside
Okay,
of
und
your
wir haben das
subjective
berühmte
experience
Problem
of
mit
this
einem
office,
Hauptprotagonisten,
is
einem
this office in
Jump-and-Run-Spiel.
fact the
Der
skeleton of my
Hauptcharakter
own
labert
relative
nur,
experiential
macht nur
mental
irgendwelche
subjective
Geräusche, statt
construct?
eigenen Dialog zu haben.
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well,
Oh,
I'd like to
und-
apologize.
Das ist
Not
auch
sure
witzig.
where I was going
Wenn man
with
nichts
all
macht,
that.
dann machen die Charakter
You know
einfach
what?
wieder was
I
eigenes, wie
think
zum
what
Beispiel
we need
Selfies.
right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Ich glaube, sowas ähnliches gab es ja auch in ähnliches gab es ja auch in Donkey Kong Country Spiel. Von Country und von Country Return. Vier Diamanten, dann haben wir 3 Diamanten. So, okay, was haben die bis jetzt? Freigeschaltet und mögliche Waffen. Können wir uns Crash wie ein Huhn aussehen lassen. Schließe das Spiel ab. Wer bei uns? Profi-Zocker mit Konto.
Payday! Payday Easter Egg! Ja! Ich habe Payday Easter Egg gefunden. Perfekt. Einfach Dallas Maske. Aber so wie von diesem Spiel danach gar nicht mehr. Hä? Hä? Hä?
Allein der Name dieses Levels. Was ist los, Komplett?
Guck mal ins Stream und weißt du, was los ist. Von der Musik etwa abgesehen.
Weißt du, der Level, seitdem ich freischalten für diese 6 Diamanten freischalten ist nichts. Warte mal, es gibt doch für jeden etwa. Wie heißt dieses Level? Ah, okay, ich sehe es. Das heißt, die Skins zeigen dir, wie viele Level es gibt. Der Standard-Skin ist das. Das ist die zweite Welt. Es gibt ja auch nur der hat jetzt am nächsten Level ein Skin, das heißt, die wechselt sich die Nachfrage.
Wait, cut the music.
Scheiße.
Go back and look at that fern.
6, 12.
Stanley, this
18,
fern will be very important later in the story.
23
Make sure you
Skins
study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
für jeden Charakter. Ja. Das heißt, es gibt 46 Level.
Jetzt ist der Raum auch wieder normal.
Beziehungsweise 45 Level, weil der letzte Skin für beide Charakter halt so, wenn das Spiel abschließt. Und der letzte Skin, dieser ganz untere, das ist wahrscheinlich der Mr. 100% Skin. Boah, 6, 5 und 11. sind es ja
Wait,
44
we're back at the
bzw.
office?
46 bis 46 Level, ey.
No, Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story?
Und in jedem
Is
hast du eine
any of this
Aufgabe. Wenn
ringing
du
a
das
bell?
freischalten musst du die Diamanten sammeln. Oh,
Hä?
das wird ja richtig schlimm. Eieieiei.
Okay, hier geht's wieder zurück. Mann, dieses Spiel mal. Dieses Spiel macht meinen Kopf kaputt.
So, Zielzeit 1 Minute 40. Okay,
Oh, no, not
Wie stell ich
again,
jetzt
Line.
ein,
How
dass
could
das
you have done this to
Zeit
us?
macht, das
And after we
automatisch?
trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take
Das
this
ist jetzt
anymore. To hell with it.
Zeit drin, oder?
Restart.
404 wurde gefeuert. Wow. Ach, klar, mit erstmal was trinken.
Mach das mal. So, ich gucke jetzt mal dieses Zeitrennen. Ich will mal gucken, was das ist. Okay, das überspringen wir mir auch mal kurz. Ach, das ist ein Spyro Easter Egg. Das ist ja geil. Hier ist ein Spyro Schwimmreifen. Ah, und am Anfang des Levels ist so eine Uhr.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Vielleicht. Ich meine, wenn ich keine andere Wahl habe.
Ah,
Now,
okay.
yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path,
Okay, dann
a
würde ich mal
new
sagen, wir
story. Well, it could
versuchen-
be anything. What do you want our story
Okay,
to
gut.
be?
Wenn
Go
man einmal
wild.
die Uhr nicht genommen hat,
Use
dann
your
despawnt die
imagination.
und man kann das
Whatever
Level
it
nicht
might
mehr
be, Stanley,
in Zeitrennen machen.
I'm ready for it.
Gut, dann sterben wir nochmal.
Ja, Spiel, ich gehe wieder zurück. Was sagst du dazu? Schau mal. Oh. Spiel sagt, fuck you. Und diese Raumaufstellung kommt mir doch sehr weird vor.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Okay.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Ich will aber noch weiter im Kreis laufen. Zwar in die falsche Richtung, aber ich will weiter im Kreis laufen.
Ach. So ein Dreck, ey.
Das Verwirrungsende. Okay, hier geht irgendwas hoch.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Jo. Ganz ruhig spielen. Ganz ruhig. Gib mir noch keinen Jumpscare. Also zwar die Jumpscare, aber es war halt echt schon dezent.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wir haben aber was ganz anderes verpasst.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So, okay, Leute, ich muss jetzt leider dann doch schon vorzeitig ausmachen. Es ist jetzt ein bisschen doof, ja. Ich würde am besten einfach mal sagen, Leute, wir machen hier jetzt erstmal Schluss. Wir machen noch einen zweiten Part von der Let's Show, von dem Spiel. Ich muss jetzt hier leider kurz abbrechen. Wie gesagt, wir machen dann einen zweiten Teil von diesen Let's Show. Ich werde den auch noch hochladen und streamen. Dementsprechend ist dann hier erstmal der kleine Cut. Ist jetzt dann ein ganz gut, so ein Mini-Stream fast schon. Wir machen dann einen zweiten Stream dann weiter. Ich hoffe, wir können dann auch ein bisschen mehr spielen. So. Trotzdem danke für die, die dabei waren. Die jetzt noch live zuschauen wollen. Mein Kollege Komplett ist noch am Streamen, da könnt ihr jetzt vorbeischauen.
Ja, aber nicht unbedingt, wenn ihr keinen Bock auf Kopfschmerzen habt. Dieses Spiel ist so verwirrend.
Wenn ihr allerdings sagt, ihr wollt euch den Kopf zerbrechen, dann geht rüber, guckt bei ihm vorbei. Einfach Komplett eingeben, dann müsstet ihr ihn schon finden.
Ja, ich mach mal das, was das Spiel mir sagt. Wenn das Spiel sagt, ich soll durch die linke Tür gehen, gehe ich durch die linke Tür statt durch die rechte, also...
Ja, gut. Wie gesagt, Leute, dann wünsche ich euch jetzt noch einen schönen Abend. Viel Spaß euch noch und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Bis dahin und ciao!
Ja, matane. Oh Gott. Marvin. Ist jetzt raus? Ja. Wow, okay. Ja.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ist hier wirklich nichts? Vertraut dem Spiel nicht. Warum habe ich die Tür zugemacht?
No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Ich habe so die Vermutung, dass wenn ich jetzt diese Tür aufmache, dass ich da ganz woanders rauskomme.
It
Noch
was
einen Moment.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ich würde gern was machen, aber ich kann leider nicht.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Ach du, wir sind selber ein bisschen verwirrt, also.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Sah aber interessant aus, ja. Wollte hier rein.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid.
Oha.
He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Oha, halt die Schnauze. Du Hurensohn.
Well, I've come to a very
beleidigt
different
mich halt
conclusion
einfach.
about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Nö. Ich finde das cool. Wäre cool, wenn er noch was sagen würde, ansonsten gehe ich jetzt wirklich raus hier. Na gut.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ist das ein Scheiß? Ich liebe dieses Game. Na gut, okay. Ist das geil.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nö. Hier runter, nicht hoch.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
No.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange
Also davon abgesehen,
observations.
dass ich
For
gerade
example,
durch zweimal
why
den gleichen Raum
couldn't he see
gegangen bin.
his feet when he looked down? Why did
Also davon
doors
abgesehen,
close
dass ich dreimal durch den
automatically
gleichen
behind
Raum
him
gehe.
wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this
by the way.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ja.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. Ich werde so dezent verwundert von diesem Spiel. Aber das soll es auch sein.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Mhm.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Aha, scheiße. Ich tue jetzt halt echt mal kurz kurz was trinken. Gucken, ob er bis dahin was sagt. Ja. Ich könnte halt theoretisch echt eigentlich auch auf dem Handy gucken. Zwecks Nachrichten. Ist halt einfach nicht da. Gut, dann. Er ist echt Bock auf mich.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What? Okay. Also wer zum Scheißhaus nichts sagt, okay. Gut. Oh, der arme Panda. Moment.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer
Ja.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Hä? Ich sehe nichts, tut mir leid. Achso, hier. Mhm. Das ist das ganze Ding einfach nur noch Loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Das Ding.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Das 4 irgendwas. Wo ist die 400er Reihe schon wie keiner gefeuert worden zu sein? Nö. Ja, was stand da oben? Pirate oder Private? Fire Rate.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it
pirates,
couldn't be
doch.
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Wo sind die anderen Knöpfe? Ah, komm. Drei. Nummer 4. Na, wo ist Schalter Nummer 4? Vielleicht drin. Nee. Ich will es erst noch drücken. Eins, zwei. Drei. Jetzt, wenn da oben der letzte Schalter ist. Okay, dann muss ich schauen, ob ich so wieder hinten noch was ankriege oder so. Ansonsten ist das der einzige Schalter. Kann ich mich da so da durchducken? Ja, es wäre dumm. Okay, alles klar. Ich sehe halt sowieso gar nichts da drüben.
And when at last he found the source of the room...
nicht sicher, ob das so richtig war. Ich habe ihn nicht mal ausreden lassen. Ich habe einfach gedrückt.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only
Ich habe gerade ein ganz anderes Gefühl dabei.
Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Mhm. Oder das war nur ein Traum. Beende das Spiel. Erhalte deine erste Trophäe. Perfekt. Tja, und jetzt geht wieder von vorne los. Aber...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Wo steht denn der jetzt?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nee.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Halt die Klappe.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Perfekt. Cool. Ich dachte mir so, wahrscheinlich hat das Spiel auch dazu was zu sagen. Also sprich einfach runter und oh. Gut. Wenn ich jetzt das Spiel erneut beginnen drücke. Ja. Gut, dann ich habe keine Ahnung, was ich jetzt noch zu tun
Stanley
habe. Ja,
knew
doch,
the
weiß
office
ich.
layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Achso, warte mal. Jetzt bleibe ich mal hier drinnen stehen. Lass mal drin sehen. Geh jetzt mal eben kurz auf dem Handy auf YouTube. Mal gucken, ob da irgendwie was passiert. Ich schätze vielleicht nicht, weil ich habe am Anfang da schon ein bisschen rumgetrödelt. Und ja. Ich glaube, da passiert echt nichts mehr. Na gut.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Gut, ich würde jetzt tatsächlich aber auch sagen, ich mache jetzt das Ding aus. Wie lange habe ich jetzt gestreamt? Bestimmt schon eine Stunde. Ja, eine Stunde. Gut. Ja, ich werde es auf jeden Fall nochmal weiterspielen. Ob ich das streamen werde, weiß ich nicht. Im Nachhinein macht es keinen Unterschied, aber hey. Also, ich wünsche euch dann noch einen angenehmen Abend oder so. Keine Ahnung, was ich jetzt sagen soll. Na denn, euer Semi, was weiß ich. Man hört sich. Matane. Ah, ja, dieser Moment, wenn man das falsche Ding aktiviert. Jetzt, Matane.